Hello everybody. Today we are going to learn about electric motor. We have already learned from Oersted experiment that a current carrying conductor produces a magnetic field around itself. And if we place that current carrying conductor in a magnetic field, the magnet experiences a force. Immediately after this discovery, Ampere suggested that there must be a reactional force. That means the magnet should also apply a force on the current carrying conductor. And in the previous class, we have already learned through an activity that yes, if we can place a current carrying conductor which is free to move in a magnetic field, then we experienced it that current carrying conductor will move due to the influence of the magnetic field. That means magnet also applies an equal force on the current carrying conductor. We will deal with this topic furthermore in this slides or in this class. In our previous class, we also learned Fleming's left-hand rule. Fleming's left-hand rule is a simple and accurate way to find the direction of force or motion of the current carrying conductor when the magnetic field direction and the current direction are known. It was originally developed by John Ambrose Fleming, an English electrical engineer in the late 19th century. Now again I am recapitulating. The forefinger points to the direction of magnetic field, middle finger points in the direction of the current, and the thumb gives the direction of force or motion acting on the conductor. Fleming's left-hand rule is used in electric motors which are used in fans, mixtures, printers, etc. All of us can try out. Spread your three fingers, forefinger, center finger and thumb. Place them perpendicular to each other. Your left hand's forefinger, center finger and thumb. Place them perpendicular to each other as shown in the figure. So remember, forefinger represents the direction of magnetic field. Center finger or your middle finger will represent the direction of current. The thumb represents the direction of thrust or force or motion of the conductor. We also got to know the formula for the force developed, that is F is equal to BIL sin theta, where F is force acting on a current carrying conductor, B is the magnetic field strength or magnetic flux density, I is the magnitude of current flowing through the conductor, L is the length of the conductor, theta is the angle between the conductor and the direction of the magnetic field. So it stands for F is equal to BIL sin theta. So from that we could conclude that when the current carrying conductor is perpendicular to the direction of the magnetic field, that means theta is 90 degree, then we got the value of F as BIL, which is the maximum force, because sine 90 is 1. And if you place the conductor and the magnetic field directions parallel to each other, then we get F is equal to 0. Why? Because F is equal to BIL sin theta. Here theta value is 0 and we know sin 0 is 0. So anything multiplied by 0 will give you 0. That is, the minimum force will be experienced by the current carrying conductor if it is placed parallel to the direction of the magnetic field. So from our all these previous knowledge, we can frame principle of electric motor. The principle of the electric motor is based on the fact that a current carrying conductor produces a magnetic field. A current carrying conductor placed perpendicular to magnetic field experiences a maximum force. And in this process, it converts electrical energy to mechanical energy. Different parts of an electric motor. Electric motor has the following parts. You need a power supply, mostly a DC battery we use for simple motors. Magnetic field, which can be produced by a permanent magnet or an electromagnet. An armature or rotor or coil. Commutator or split rings, brushes and axle. Watch this figure. We need to practice this in diagram for our exam purpose. I am going to explain each part in the next slide. So please have a look, have a critical look at the diagrams. Referring to the diagram, I am now explaining functions of different parts of an electric motor. Insulated copper wire, which is also called armature. What is that? A rectangular coil of wire ABCD. It is also called rotor. Then magnetic field. A magnet as placed in the figure, that means in between North Pole and South Pole, the coil is placed. So this magnet, which can be a permanent magnet or an electromagnet, creates a magnetic field, and the direction of the magnetic field is shown in the diagram. Split rings. Two disjoint C-shaped rings S1 and S2 as marked in the diagram. It acts as commutator, which enables the change in the direction of flow of current through the sides AB and CD part circle, so that the sides always experience an opposite force. And what will happen to experience opposite force? When they experience opposite force, a torque will be created which will help it to rotate. Axle. A coil of wire is wrapped around an axle. The split rings are attached on the axle, which can rotate freely. Carbon brushes. Just beside the split rings, there are two carbon brushes, B1 and B2 as shown in the diagram. Carbon brushes are good conductors of electricity. So they conduct electricity from the battery to the commutators, and they supply to the current to the coil. But carbon brushes are stationary. Carbon brushes attached to the battery. This portion of the circuit remains stationary. Last but not the least, battery, which is the source of current. Going to discuss working of a DC motor. Trace the diagram. When the current begins to flow, current flows through the brush. Now here the brushes are named as X and Y, which earlier we were telling as B1 and B2. Same thing. The carbon brushes X and Y. The rectangular coil is ABCD. So when the current begins to flow, current flows through the carbon brush X, then it goes to AB side, then BC, then C to D, and then back to Y and into the battery. Applying Fleming's left-hand rule to wire AB, current is along AB, magnetic field is as shown north to south, the motion of the wire is downwards. You can also try out with your left hand, placing your left hand forefinger, middle finger and thumb. Place your forefinger along north-south direction. Place your center finger around the direction of current AB. So your thumb will point out downward direction. So AB side of the coil will move downward. Apply Fleming's left-hand rule to the side CD. See now, the magnetic field is north to south. Current, that is the center finger, is showing the direction of current around CD. So now your thumb is showing upward direction. So CD side will go upwards. Then what will happen? The coil will begin to move in anti-clockwise direction. AB side downward, CD upwards. So which is giving you anti-clockwise rotation. We have to note that during anti-clockwise rotation, the split rings and axle also move, whereas the carbon brushes do not move. After half a rotation, where CD and split ring Q moves to the left side, they have changed their sides. Did you realize that? It was in the right side. Now after half rotation it has come to left side. Similarly, where AB and split ring P goes to the other side, that means it goes to left hand side. Whereas carbon brushes X and Y do not move. So circuit gets disconnected when it is halfway through. The coil is standing straight up, so there is no connection between PQ and XY. So no current is flowing through the armature. What will happen then? Due to inertia, the coil will fall flat, and when they are falling flat, the sides are changing their directions. As soon as the coil falls flat, that means horizontally comes into the magnetic field, then again the current starts to flow. Now applying Fleming's left hand rule to wire CD and AB. Now CD has come to left side, AB has come to right side. So now if you apply Fleming's left hand rule, you will see that CD will go down. You can place your left hand forefinger, middle finger and thumb, and you can also judge that current is going now along CD. Forefinger is showing the magnetic field north to south, so thumb is showing downwards. That means CD is going downwards, whereas AB will go upwards. So they will maintain again anti-clockwise rotation. So now you have to notice another thing. Earlier in the first half, carbon brushes X and Y are stationary. Now also they are stationary. In the earlier half, P was in the left hand side. So current was entering through P. Now Q is in the left hand side. So now the current is entering through Q. So due to the reversal of current in the coil sides, the continuous rotation of the coil is possible. And how is the reversal of current is possible? It is possible by the commutator rings. Commutator rings P and Q, the cup-shaped rings. They are enabling the reversal of current in the sides of the coil. I am trying to reinforce the whole working of the electric motor once more. Just look at the diagram. In the first case, first A figure, that is giving you the first circle. Current is flowing from the battery to X, that is carbon brush, then coming to P, that is the cup-shaped split ring. From there it is going to AB side, then BC, then CD, coming back to Q, and then Y, another carbon brush, and coming back to the battery. From the previous slides, we applied Fleming's left-hand rule, and we got to know that AB will go down, CD will go up. That means an anti-clockwise rotation will start. After half rotation, when the coil is just perpendicular, next figure, then what is happening to the cup-shaped split ring? You can see that neither P nor Q are in contact with X and Y. X and Y have come to the parted portion. So no current will be flowing now. Then what will happen? The coil cannot be stationary at that vertical position. So due to inertia, it will still rotate and fall flat. If you observe very critically, you can see that after first half rotation, P has gone to the right side, whereas Q has come to the left side. That means CD has come to the left side, AB has gone to the right side. Now current will go from X, that is the carbon brush, which is fixed, not moving, then it will go to Q, then CD, then CB, then AB, then coming to P and coming back to Y to battery. That means the current direction in AB is reversed, same as CD. Current direction in CD is reversed. But in AB, the direction of current is opposite to the direction of current in CD. So still they will experience the torque, the force, and due to which the coil will again start rotating. Now CD will go down, AB will come up, and this way we will have continuous rotation of the coil. The motor will start working. Speed of the motor depends upon the force experienced. And what are the factors? The speed of the motor depends upon the strength of the magnetic field, strength of the current in the coil, number of turns in the armature or coil. Applications of an electric motor. Electric motors are applied in electric fans, refrigerators, mixtures, washing machines, and like this many other electrical devices. For reinforcement, please follow this link.